Good morning, and thank you to everyone for joining us today on the webinar. My name is Damon Robbins. I'm an account manager at AMS, and today we'll be talking about the latest developments in fax technology, what's new, and hopefully we'll go through some features that will be of use to you and your organisation. So most of the attendees today are existing customers, so we'll be talking about what's new, their existing fax solutions, and what you can achieve with the new technology available. So some of the existing fax solutions might include FaxPress desktops or the FaxPress Premier and Enterprise range. And some of the hardware out there is up to 10 years old now. We also have new telephony options with fax over IP, cloud fax, and also a hybrid telephony environment. And then we'll assess the benefits and the pros and cons between on-premise solutions versus the cloud. Then we'll go through a quick demo of the user experience and discuss one of the customer examples to hopefully illustrate one of the projects we've done. There should be a questions box in the bottom right-hand corner. Please feel free to enter some questions as we go through the webinar. Be interesting to hear what you think, and also we'll answer as many of the questions as we can at the end of the session. Just a little bit of history about OpenText and AMS. As a company, we've been providing fax solutions for over 20 years, and we specialise in all forms of secure document delivery. Personally, I've actually worked for AMS for just over 10 years, so I've had a good opportunity to see how fax solutions have evolved into more than just a way to send and receive faxes from your computer. OpenText are a Canadian company, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and with that kind of support and continued development and investment in the products, OpenText are always adding to their portfolio and functionality. They've established themselves as the #1 fax server vendor worldwide. And AMS are an ASP partner and platinum partner for direct distribution and support within the UK. We have our own team of in-house engineers to help and support you with any queries you might have. We also have the full range of OpenText information exchange solutions, including fax, secure email, and managed file transfer. So some of the challenges our customers are facing with their existing fax solutions is a reliance on an old hardware platform. As I mentioned, a lot of these servers have been in service for a long time, and often fax is overlooked, but when you look at the documents being sent and received via the servers, it's normally the most important documents within the business, things like invoices, purchase orders, proof of delivery slips, that kind of thing. And I think we need to assess what impact it would have on the business in the event of a hardware failure. And there's also the issue of Microsoft and their supporting of operating systems such as XP in 2003. When I talk to my customers and contacts, there's been quite a big drive for change with users' workstations. I think with the skipping of Vista, a lot of sites are now upgrading to Windows 7 and Windows 8, and there could be compatibility issues with the client software and the new workstation platforms. Environments are changing. There's a large migration towards voice over IP telephony, and integrating fax devices with IP telephony can be a challenge. MFP contracts generally change every 3 to 5 years. Previously, they used to be have fax cards and fax lines connected to the devices, but more and more customers are looking for an easier and more universal way of fax enabling printers of any make or manufacturer without the need for any physical infrastructure. And then there's the manual process of fax delivery and fax handling, and we can help you with that process and hopefully streamline some of the actions your users are having to take. The new software also has some enhanced security options, including an encrypted fax vault to safeguard your fax images, and there are now advanced options for auditing and user permissions management. I mentioned a minute ago, with the migration to voice over IP, it can be a challenge for organisations to connect their fax systems or their fax machines. Quite often some voice over IP systems don't have analog fax cards, and if they need a converter, we found on sites it's often problematic or unstable and can cause a loss in service. All our fax solutions are certified by the main manufacturers in the telephony market. It will eliminate the need for any hardware or adapters and will provide a reliable and robust service for you. More and more customers are looking at virtualization for removing physical computers and servers, and our WriteFax and WriteFax Express software can both be virtualized with the main platforms on the market, VMware and Hyper-V. We have strong integrations with back-end systems and applications, and we have native connectors for solutions such as SharePoint, so you can actually send a fax from within SharePoint or capture an inbound fax into SharePoint, so it becomes part of the solution. And with SAP and Oracle, we have real-time updating of the database, so people use fax as an add-on module to the actual application rather than seeing it as a separate entity in itself. With the continuing drive towards cloud, we now have options for completely hosted or partially hosted systems. As a company, we have access to the full range of open text fax solutions. So we have an option for pretty much any requirement. WriteFax is the market-leading solution and the most popular choice for our customers, and we have it available in 3 different flavors. So we have the full on-premise solution, which gives you the greatest amount of features and the opportunity to leverage your investment with your existing voice over IP or traditional telephony environment. WriteFax Connect is more of a hybrid architecture, so you have on-premise software, but we can actually host the telephony for you. WriteFax On Demand is the same as an on-premise solution, but it's completely hosted for you. So you get all the benefits and all the features of an on-premise solution, but without the overhead of having to actually install and host the software yourself. The CloudFax platform is a simple email to fax and fax to email solution, but it's incredibly robust and is used by many of the large UK banks. WriteFax Express is more of a lightweight solution, and we actually have that as an option in software only, or if you want an all-in-one hardware appliance, and that can actually connect to traditional telephony or a voice over IP platform. So we'll discuss some of the merits of on-premise solutions versus cloud. Probably one of the biggest drivers that our customers say the reason they go for an on-premise solution is security. So with on-premise, all of the data is stored on-site within your own network, so you've got full control of your information. IT also retain full control of the software and the management of the solution and can make changes as and when they want to. It helps with the adoption of voice over IP networks, or even traditional telephony. We have purpose-built fax gateways if you don't yet have a voice over IP system. The on-premise options provide more features and richer integration options with the applications that you use every day. And within WriteFax and WriteFax Express, we have a flexible offering, so we can provide it as a software solution in WriteFax or WriteFax Express, or a hardware all-in-one appliance for WriteFax Express. The big drive towards cloud solutions has been the reduction in the total cost of ownership of the solution, because there's nothing to install or host or manage in your network. So it reduces the overhead from your IT departments. Our Cloud Fax offering also provides a minimum SLA of 99.5%, so it's a very highly available solution. And financially it's attractive because there's no upfront capital expenditure, just a recurring monthly cost. Now I'm just going to pop up a poll, and it would be really interesting to get everyone's thoughts as to what their motivations would be for changing their existing fax solution, and why they might, what functionality they might be interested in. So the poll should now be on your screens. If you could select an option, that'd be really appreciated. Great, thank you very much for contributing on that. And it's interesting to see what companies' drivers are. It seems like the biggest driver is for replacing the old hardware, so maybe having a more reliable solution going forward is important to you. But also the transition to IP telephony got quite a good response. And we can see that in the conversations that we're having with our customers, is the infrastructure is changing, and they need the technology to change and migrate with it. We'll just do a quick demonstration of the user interface and the new WriteFax software, so you can see what it's like from a user's perspective. We haven't removed any of the key features, so you still get the normal options for sending and receiving a fax. And one of the most simple is using the print to fax driver. So we can select the print option, type in a fax number, and click on send. Very simple to use, very easy for your users, and a very popular way to publish the functionality to your users' computers. And there's no license per seat or per computer for that. If we just go through the process again, we can see that there's a few extra options in here. So we can enter in recipient details. You can see there that it's also completed some of those fields. That's because I exist here in the phone book, and these phone books, there's been quite a big improvement in the way the phone books are managed. You can have globally shared phone books. You can split them out on a per user or per group basis, depending on how your organisation is structured. And it just means it's very easy to add other recipients to the fax, or even select an entire group. We can also add in some cover sheet notes, and maybe you want to put a comment on there. And the comments are useful for maybe sorting the records and having a look through your fax history. We can browse to other attachments on the network. And we also now have library documents. So these are common documents that you might attach to typical faxes, something like terms and conditions or payment details, things like that. There's also an option for a scanner. So if you have a Twain device connected to your computer, here's an easy way to automatically capture that document into the fax. We just click on send, and then we can open up the Microsoft client, which is called Fax Util. You can see here it's very similar to a mail client with your outbox and all your fax history, and we can see the two faxes that we've just sent here. If I open up the document, there's some nice easy options for scrolling through the fax itself. And you've also got choices here to route the fax to another user or forward it to another user. One of those keeps a copy of the document and one of them deletes it from your queue. One of the security improvements I mentioned earlier was the improved auditing of faxes. Within WriteFax, you can actually have a look at the history of a document. You can see when it was received, and this is your proof of delivery or transmission. We can see who's viewed the documents, and we can also see if it was manually routed by another user. So you have that full trail of responsibility that you can refer to at a later date. One of the most popular options is the email integration. The reason it's so popular is because if you're using SMTP, you don't need to install or configure anything on your users' workstations. And not only from email clients, it can be a good way to send faxes from back-end applications. Some of our customers have applications such as Dynamics Nav, which can automatically output documents to an email address. And it's the same format if you're using your client software. So you can just type in a fax number at whatever you set up in your network, and here we just click on send.fax. And you can type in the subject field, message body, and attach other files as you would any normal email. We can see here this is a fax that we've previously sent, and the users will get notifications so they can take responsibility for their own fax traffic. And we also have options for attaching a copy of the fax image. Inbound faxes can be automatically delivered to your email account as well. There is a transaction record here, and a copy of the fax is attached in PDF or TIFF file. Well, those are the basic ways for users to send and receive faxes. But if you have a specific requirement, please feel free to give us a call or an email after the webinar, and we'll be happy to talk about that and maybe show you that particular functionality in more detail. So these are one of the improvements that we've made with the fax software, is we've updated the email integration. We've seen that a lot of customers who are moving from on-site email systems such as Exchange or Lotus Notes or GroupWise are moving to maybe Office 365 or Gmail. Well, now we can work with pretty much any SMTP, POP or IMAP compatible email platform. We've also updated the native connector for Exchange. So you can see here there's a button in the Outlook client, and this just gives you more options for entering in the fax recipient information and choosing phone books. With workers becoming more mobile, we now have two web clients as well. So we've got a very basic and fast web client that can be used on a variety of devices, whether that's an Android tablet or a phone or a laptop. And we also have a very rich client for administration of your documents. But it gives users the ability to access their fax history on the move and also send and receive faxes. OpenText are very good at maintaining strategic relationships with most of these, the MFP manufacturers. Now, although SMTP is a very popular option because it can fax enable any scan to email enabled device without a cost per machine, we have also increased our native MFP connectors to include Lexmark and Kyocera now. so that if companies want the extra features available, such as phone book and user management within the connector, they now have those options and choices. Now here's one of the customer examples, and before a lot of the projects were very cost-driven. It was more about removing fax machines. But over the last few years, a lot more of our projects have been process-driven. So on this site, one of the biggest drivers was to reduce the amount of effort and cost involved in sending out large invoice fax runs, and also to improve the process for inbound vehicle requests. So in this situation, we integrated with a back-end solution from IBM called Enrich, which handles their vehicle rental requests, and we could automatically capture the document electronically and deliver that to the application. So not only have they obviously reduced the cost from having to print out documents and use fax hardware, but we've actually streamlined the process, and there are other benefits that they've gained as a result of that. Over the last few years, probably the biggest thing we've looked at is the actual document itself and the contents of the document that's being faxed. Now we have options for personalization and custom integration with different applications. We've created automated drivers to capture push output. So we have an automated fax print driver that can capture a document, read embedded codes in that document, and make intelligent decisions as to where to deliver that, whether that's via email, fax, or print. We can also do database calls into back-end systems, collate information, put that data into a nice format, and again, intelligently deliver that via email, fax, or print. Inbound documents, now that we're automatically capturing them, we can have a look at what's contained within that fax with options for OCR, and also delivering those documents to document management or workflow systems with metadata to help with the automated indexing, and with a workflow process we can provide information that might help pass it on to the next stage of the process. We've also created customized applications for some of our customers with specific needs. So one of those was a dashboard application, so that they could have that on a flat screen monitor, so the users could be updated in real time as to how many faxes were in each particular queue that needed actioning. We've also created a new fax client manager, which makes it easier for the users to view faxes, check them out into their workspace, split those documents up, and pass that information into their backend application. In this situation, it was WinDip. We also have options for notifications via SMS, or we can have an audible or visible alert on the computer, so that users can get to those documents quicker and get the process sorted quicker. So now we're looking more not just at the ease of use of sending or receiving faxes from computers, but we're thinking more about the documents and the information contained in those documents. Typically processes like invoices, purchase orders, proof of delivery. We can help you create a completely automated end-to-end process. And if this is something you're looking to achieve, please give us a call or an email, and we'll be happy to sit down and talk to you about the options available. Just an example of some of our customers, but it really shows that we work across a wide range of verticals. So whether you're a private organisation or a public body, there are options to suit all of your needs. So in summary, AMS as a company have specialised in fax and secure information exchange solutions for a long time, and we have a lot of experience in delivering these. We have a product portfolio to suit all requirements, so whether you're looking for an on-premise solution or a cloud, or to integrate with a hybrid environment, we have a choice for you. and we can work with you to deliver a solution not just to reduce cost, but streamline a process and provide security and compliance for all of your fax data. If you have any plans for 2015, if there are any network upgrades, or you have a voice over IP migration in the pipeline, please give us a call. We'll be happy to help plan the transition to your new environment. Thank you very much for your time. I'll just pass over to Rich and see what questions we've had during the webinar.
Okay, thanks, Damien. Yeah, so we've had a couple of questions come through. The first one's from John. Are there migration tools from the old fax press to the new solution? So yeah, there is, depending on which new solution you went to. So whether it's one of the cloud options or it was an on-premise white fax option, which Damien talks about, there's different migration paths that we take. But certainly there's utilities that we can run against your old fax press server to move things like user accounts, fax history, audit logs, those kind of things. And sometimes we'll have to do a bit of manual migration to move things such as cover sheets or phone books and things like that. But we can move all the data from your old system to any new platform that you went to. Another question from John was, what OS do the new servers support? So our on-premise white fax servers support Windows 2008, Windows 2008 RC2, Windows 2012, and Windows 2012 RC2. So we're right up there with sort of the latest OSs. All the client software that comes with our solutions as well, they support anything from Windows XP all the way up to Windows 8.1. So we shouldn't have any problems there with compatibility. Another question I've got from Frank is, we currently use the FaxPress web services for integration. Do the new solutions have the same API? They do all have their own API. WhiteFax has a very nice selection of APIs, has a web services API, has a COM API. They're a little bit more powerful than FaxPress in terms of some of the controls and methods that you can utilize, and there's certainly improved documentation around them as well. Unfortunately, the API is slightly different, but if you have the in-house skills to use the FaxPress API, then I couldn't see any reason why you couldn't migrate that to the WhiteFax APIs available. And of course, if you did have any need for any assistance with that, as Damien's already mentioned, we do have a professional development team here at AMS that use those APIs day in, day out, so we'd be able to help you with that transition. Got a question here from Andre. Will it work okay with terminal services? Yes, absolutely. The WhiteFax products will work with Citrix, Zenap, all those kind of things. All of the client applications that Damien showed you, whether it's the Outlook integration, the Fax Util, or the print driver, they're all compatible in a terminal services environment. We have a compatibility matrix that we can send you just to double check that the version you're running is compatible. But yeah, OpenText will always try and keep that very up to date, so I wouldn't foresee any problems with that. Got another question here from James. We currently use FaxPress to drop inbound faxes to a folder where we then manually save each file into our record system. Could we configure the same with WhiteFax? Yeah, we could. We could do exactly the same with WhiteFax. So WhiteFax has that same feature. So when an inbound fax is received into the system, we can drop it into a folder as either PDF or TIFF or some other image file formats if required. But what we can also do with WhiteFax that we couldn't do with FaxPress is we can save the file with a bit of metadata as well, whether that's an XML file or a CSV file, and that can help with the sort of automatic saving into these, maybe into this record system. So perhaps if you manually processing at the moment, if we can drop in the relevant information, that might be a completely automated process now. We've got lots of customers doing that with WhiteFax, and as I said, there's a couple of options. We can drop the image with metadata, or we can create something bespoke for you. You know, if you've got that specific need where you need something from the contents of the fax, or you need to do a lookup to a certain database, or an external source, we can use the APIs and our professional development team to work with you to create a real neat automated process. I think that's all the questions, Damien. I'll hand back to you.
Well, thanks, Rich. Well, hopefully you've found the webinar useful today, and it's raised some of the new features that might be relevant to your changing environments. If there are any questions, or you'd like to discuss any of the subjects that we've talked about today, please give us a call or an email, and we'll hopefully arrange someone to talk about it in more detail. But thank you very much for your time.